Welcome into Game Night Live Rewind, the 6A Boys and Girls Award Show. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart, as always, presented by Heidemann Associates, brought to you by and supported by WGU.
Yeah, and just a reminder, Western Governors University, online classes available, can also take classes in campus, but this is not your traditional university, right? You don't have to go and spend all day on a campus somewhere. You can take your learning at your pace. You can even test out of credits if you already have the knowledge. It's a great way to take that next step in your career. If you want to elevate your education, get ready for that next opportunity in your life, but don't have the time for traditional, on-campus university, Western Governors University is a perfect fit for you. To learn more, visit wgu.edu.
Absolutely. Well, let's go through our 6A award show. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you haven't seen Mr. and Ms. Rewind videos that put out in a separate spot, go check those out as well. Let's not waste any time. Let's get to our 6A Girls MVP. All right, here with our 6A Player of the Year, Maggie Mendelson of the Fremont Silver Wolves. And you should know, we don't tell everyone why they're coming to our, this is partly why this. But Maggie, first of all, you had an amazing year. How fun was it this year for you? You played on the junior national team. How much confidence does that give you coming into this season? Because you got to play with Tamia, you got to see Emma, but this was like your year. Did that give you a lot of confidence coming this year?
Yeah, it was just awesome just to know that, playing behind all, the best players and playing behind Emma and playing behind Tamia, and that, I'm up there, and I've learned so much from them, and just be able to play at such high level on the USA team and learn from everybody on that team and the awesome coaches they had there. It was just awesome to know I could do it, and I'm not just a volleyball player, so.
Maggie, we talked about this a little bit before you came on, but just curious, I feel like this year there was a different intensity, a different sense of aggressiveness in your play. What do you feel like really changed last year to this year, where you became much more of a go-to, or hey, I'm going to go and get this? What changed in your game from last year to this year?
Probably just my confidence, just knowing that I could be more aggressive, and that the players around me are gonna rebound for me. They're gonna hype me up if I miss a layup. They'll always be there for me, and just playing with my teammates just added to extra level of confidence.
You did something that I'm really glad that we have Fremont people to watch our games. You reclassified. You could have one more year of high school, and you said no. Can you, first of all, when did you become aware you could do that? And then second, what went into that decision?
It was a lot went into the decision. I realized that I could do it just right after I got back from USA Volleyball, so late August. It was a hard decision to make. I'm really going to miss everybody at high school, especially my basketball team and my basketball coach for sure. It's just, there's a lot of things that went into it. Some coaching changes definitely at Fremont Volleyball left me unaware of my next year, so I just decided that it's going to be better for me to move on.
So let's talk about a Fremont basketball program. I mean, it's been the most successful program in the state the last handful of years. What has it been like coming through that program, playing under Coach DeLaBelle, playing with Tamia, playing with Emma? I was going to say Emily. I knew that wasn't right. Playing with Emma, that whole crew, right? When you think back on your basketball career at Fremont, what's the thing that is going to last? What's that thing you're going to take with you, the memory you'll have going forward?
Just the teammate connections, we're not just basketball players, we're all best friends. We all love each other so much, and just to be able to win with them, to lose with them, just has brought us so much closer, and it's been a ride for sure.
Now, there have been some really good players at the state of Utah that you think of the Hampson sisters with volleyball, basketball. You think of Kennedy Redding, Ride Alch now, right? Volleyball, basketball. Now you going to Nebraska. What's that looking like for us coaching-wise about you being able to play multiple sports in the Big Ten?
I'm just really grateful for the opportunity that my coaches in Nebraska have given me, just to be able to play both, and the faith that they've put into me to know that I can do it. And it's going to be hard work, but I'm excited to get there and work out the details with them.
What's going to be your first thought when you put on a red jersey instead of a blue one?
On my official visit, I was like, this looks really weird. So, but I'm excited to put it on for the next 4 to 5 years. So.
Well, Maggie, congratulations. What was an outstanding year. We're so excited to follow you as you move on to Nebraska. But congratulations, our 2022 6A Most Valuable Player.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Look, Maggie Mendelson, I think everyone would think this is Tamia Gardner, but Maggie, night in and night out, was an absolute star.
Yeah, she was fantastic. And I mean, you look at Dusty, what she means to this Fremont team, and to me it does as well, right? This is not meant to be a jab at one or the other, but it felt like Maggie was a double-double every single night and an absolute matchup problem in the post. And even going to that state championship game against Lone Peak, it was like, man, how do they try to take away Mendelson? And they did a really good job of it. She still finished with, I think, 25, 26 points in that game. But man, just what a growth over her career at Fremont. She looks like a different player. We've talked about that, but her ability to get inside the block, to be physical, to be aggressive, to go at the rim, rebounding second, third chance opportunities. Man, it feels like her growth over the course of her 3 years at Fremont has just been on an unreal trajectory. And to me, I had a great year this year as well. Yeah. But Maggie, to me, what she did night in, night out, inside, really that advantageous position for Fremont is why she ends up being in this position.
Well, and I think the other thing, too, if you've watched the Mr. Rewind, we talked about with Jack, when we thought about this award and who we would give it to, state tournament goes into it. And Maggie Mendelson in the state tournament was the best player for Fremont. Stat sheet, everything else. You watch those games, 44 is who the ball was going to go to. And she was absolutely spectacular. But congratulations to Maggie. And to her personality, she was amazing. By saying out things, well, the first response back was Maggie. We were like, it was awesome. She's just great. So much fun to get to meet her in person as well. All right, let's go to our 6A girls Offensive Player of the Year. All right, our 6A Offensive Player of the Year, Kaylee Woolston of the Lone Peak State Champion Lone Peak Knights. But Kaylee, congratulations. What was an amazing year. You've had some time to kind of let that year sink in. What does it immediately comes back to you when you think it back on your senior year, or pardon me, your junior season?
I'm just so proud of my teammates and my coaches and everyone that helped get us to where we are. And it's just crazy that this was our goal all along and we finally got it. It's just still crazy to me.
Kayla, when you think about, I think I've said, I thought next year would be that year for Lone Peak, and you guys do it in your junior year. What has it been like to come through this program, to be a part of that culture, building upon it and making that next step every year, and then finally being able to reach the mountain and win a state championship in your junior year?
Yeah, it's just awesome to think about where we came from me and McKaylee being the only returners from our freshman year, and how our team has grown over the years to where we are now. I'm just super proud of everyone. It's awesome.
That championship game, quite frankly, is probably the best girls basketball game I've been a part of.
Yeah.
I know I've watched it about 3 times. How many times have you gone back and rewatched that game?
Oh, I don't know. I've watched like at least 5 times, different sections of it all the time, all the highlights, everything. Just can't get enough of that game. It's so fun.
Kaylee, there's a follow that I follow on Twitter. The guy always says free throws are free. I've heard you're pretty good at free throws. What has been your key? What has been your path to success of how you've been so successful at the line? National record holder another year, 94% this year. What has been your key in developing that as a part of your tool set?
I just feel like free throws are the one thing you can do consistently. Like sometimes your shots won't fall, defenses will shut you down or whatever, but free throws are something you can always give, and everyone always says like free throws win championships, and it's true. And so I just put a lot of time into free throws, and it's paid off.
What's a lot of time? Do you take X a day or hours per week, or what? Quantify that for people.
The last few years I would shoot 50 a day. Like especially during COVID, I would shoot a lot because that was all you could do is go shoot. And then, but recently I haven't been able to shoot as much just because of the risks and everything. Just have to limit the numbers. But yeah.
So we always talk about this with the boys. We make sure we take care of this with you. Well, this is a huge summer for you. Junior year going into your senior year, this is where everything kind of picks up. What are some of the things you're trying to work on to be ready for opportunities that come to you at the next level?
Just being a team leader and being able to. My AAU team this year is really young, so I think this year will be a good year for me to work on leadership and bringing my team together, and I think it'll be a good year for. We have a growth year in my AAU team. We've got a lot of freshmen, and I think it'll be a good year for me to learn how to be a leader and grow in that way.
What's it been like to play for Coach Nancy Warner? What's it like to be a part of her program?
It's been awesome to play for somebody that I want to be like. To have a coach that has been a player and just an amazing role model to me, and just being able to
I trust everything that she says, and being able to have her as a coach has just helped bring so much trust to our team and has brought us together a lot.
So with this team come back next year, how do you keep everyone together? Like Shawnee Nordstrom come back, everyone there. What's the kind of the goals, the things you're going to do to make sure the next year you have the kind of same success you had this year?
I think just keeping the same focus on every game getting better, every day getting better. Not being so focused on we already won the state championship, what can we do better? But just every day getting better as a team and coming together. And I think we can do great things this next year.
We've already done great things this year, but congratulations, Kaylee, our 2022 6A Offensive Player of the Year. Look, Kaylee Woolston very well could have been the 6A MVP. They win the state championship, probably one of the biggest upsets in girls basketball. Right? And that's not to say that
upset of a 1 beating a 2. I mean, think about that, right?
RPI.
No, I know. I'm just saying, right? Anyway.
You had a McDonald's All-American. You have our, well, an All-American volleyball and basketball player. I mean, good grief. And they take care of it as a bunch of underclassmen. But it's because of Kaylee Woolston. Misconsistency, and is what she was able to bring more than offensively, but that's how we're going to judge this. But she was spectacular.
She was, and the thing that I said about Kaylee, I think I picked this up about midway through the year. It's like, look, just give her 7 or 8 points to start at the beginning of the game because was set a national record last year for free throw percentage. This year, I think was slightly below that, settled for like 94, 95%. She just doesn't miss at the line, so give her 6, 7, 8 points from the line just to start. But then the thing I loved about Kaylee was she knew when she needed to step up and make big plays, and then she knew when, hey, I'm going to give it to a teammate here, right? Trust her teammates to make the right play for them, and whether that was Ika, who made big plays in the playoffs, Nawahine, Nordstrom, so many different weapons that they had offensively, but Kaylee was kind of the stirred the drink, right, and made it all work. And we talk about her ability to drive, her ability to take the open three, the open jump shot. A really difficult player to guard. Just a junior. We get another year of Kaylee, but man, can't wait to see her continued growth and progression. But her offensive year this year, not just scoring, to your point, finding the right play for her team was just impressive, and one of the reasons why they went undefeated and ended up winning a state championship.
Yeah, it'd be so much fun to watch where Kaylee goes this summer and the next year. Highly recruited already. It's just going to get better and better for Kaylee. All right, now from our 6A MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, now let's go to our 5A MVP. Our 2022 5A MVP, back-to-back years, Alyssa Blank of the Olympus Titans. And Alyssa, first of all, congratulations on what was an outstanding run at Olympus. And I know last year we went through a lot of the firsts, some more firsts for this program. How fun has it been for you to be part of a turnaround of the program?
It's been truly, amazing, to just go in with, a somewhat of a new coach, and go and win back-to-back region champs and, change it from a losing schedule to a winning schedule, so that was pretty good, yeah.
Dusty said he wasn't going to ask, but I didn't. One of the best moments was at a halftime, a free throw contest. So I'm going to ask this question first. Game, who wins in a free throw contest, you or Jack Wistersill?
Definitely me.
I think so too. No offense, Jack.
You play with the boys' ball too?
Even with the boys' ball, I'd still beat him.
3-point shooting contest straight away?
He probably beat me in the with the boys' ball. With the girls' ball, I don't know. It would be tough.
I think we have to do another basketball video.
So let's because you were one of the top free throw shooters in the country.
Yeah.
We've seen you in the paint. I'm just curious, when you think about this year, you think on your career, you talk about helping to change the culture of a program. What's that thing that sticks with you that you're maybe most proud of, or that you'll remember going forward?
Just being able to come into the program and immediately make a difference, starting freshman year and becoming a leader for the team and just bringing it up from there was really cool to me. Yeah.
A lot of teams, you get to be the best player on your team, and sometimes that can get people at any level to be a little lackadaisical. What is it about you that you keep pushing yourself where you don't say, well, I'm the best here, but you think I want to be better somewhere else?
Definitely in some moments I was probably a little lackadaisical, but I think for me it's looking at the bigger picture, where I want to end up, my goals, playing college basketball, just leading that team. So yeah, I think that's what it was for me.
We talk about free throws, points, top rebounder. There's so many different aspects to your game. It's why you're our MVP again this year. When you think about where you contribute the most, like what's your favorite part of playing? What's that part that you take the most pride in your game and in what you've been able to develop?
I think for me, it's definitely shooting. I love to shoot my threes, but also getting a nice pass to my teammates is also one of the best feelings. I like that too, so yeah.
How fun is it? You're going to go down and play BYU for Coach Juddy. So many girls from the state of Utah down there. Is that part of that drive? Like, hey, you can finally go play on this Utah high school basketball all-star team.
Yeah.
Emma Calvert and Nani Falatea, and so many others. How fun is that for you to go down there?
It's super fun. I'm excited. I mean, I played against all those girls for like a couple years and practiced with Emma while she was on my comp team. And so it was just super fun. It's super fun to be able to go and play with them now. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations. It's been awesome to watch your growth, and we wish you nothing but the best at BYU. But congratulations being back-to-back 5 MVP.
Thank you so much.
Look, Alyssa wins his back-to-back years, and when we were trying to decide where this goes, it was, where does that team go without them?
Yeah.
And this isn't a knock to Olympus. You take Alyssa Blink off that team, quarterfinals, I don't know that that's there.
Yeah, I don't know that that's there either. Let's make one more mention here while we're at it, shall we? You look at what this Olympus team did. Who did they lose to? They lost to Springville, right? Yeah, so did every other team in 5A this year. Springville did not lose in 5A. Yeah. That's number one. Number two, she had the best individual game in the playoffs against Springville. Alyssa Blank did. I think she had 15, 16, 17 points, something like that. That was by far the most that Springville had given up to an opposing offensive player. We talk about her ability to shoot the three. She was also one of the top free throw shooters. She was second in the state this year, but she was still over 90%. I think she said 92% when we talked to her. And then, again, her ability to work in the paint, get second chance opportunities for her squad. Alyssa Blank does everything for Olympus. And to your point, without her, I think it's a certainly different season. Probably not a region championship. I would say probably not a big playoff run from the Titans this year. She helped change the trajectory of that program over her tenure there. And while it's not a career award, that certainly has an effect on what she means to that program and why she's our MVP.
Yeah, the trajectory is a little flatter without Alyssa Blake.
Right.
Big miss. But an amazing career. Congratulations to Alyssa. So excited to watch her at the Y, what she does with Coach Juddy as well. All right, from our 5 MVP, let's go to our 5A Offensive Player of the Year. All right, here with our 5A Offensive Player of the Year, Jameson Heaton of the Lehigh Pioneers. And Jameson, it kind of is a theme in our girls' videos. Teams that get over the hump. And Lehigh, you've been part of this team for 4 years. So many heartbreaks in the state tournament, but you finally get over the top and get into the state championship game. How rewarding was this season?
It was honestly the best season I could ever ask for. All the girls and coaches and everything in the program was just amazing. So it was just the best year by far.
Jameson, in the last couple of years, Dusty talked about how good this Lehigh program has been. But this year it was kind of like you were one of the key returners from previous year's squads. Did you feel that pressure, or did you kind of lean into that? Like, what was different for you about this year and your role compared to previous years?
At first I felt like there was just a little bit of pressure, but then as I played with the girls and as I got to know most of the younger girls coming up, I just realized that we're all just friends and we're family and there's not much pressure going on. So it's just playing a game with my friends, that's all.
Maybe I've got to make sure we couch this the right way, but what was the difference in this year's team in the state tournament, maybe from years previous?
It was very different because, of course, with the twins leaving and our whole starting lineup pretty much leaving, it was a lot different, but we took on that role, and with the girls coming up, they accepted the roles of being leaders as well, so it was just really amazing.
When you think back on this season, on your career, what are going to be some of those things that you remember that will stick with you? What's maybe a favorite moment or a favorite lesson that you gained from playing at Lehigh?
There's been a lot with coaches and teammates. I say that a lot, but it's just like realistic how great my team is. But I would say the best memory is probably finally beating Highland in the semifinals and finally getting over the slump. Like, it took a lot because Highland's an amazing team. So, of course, that was really hard going into the game. But when the buzzer went off, the final buzzer, it was just the best feeling ever.
Yeah, let's talk about it, because in the state tournament, there was a moment, I think it was in the quarterfinals, you guys had a nice lead, and then all of a sudden that third quarter comes and start falling behind. That felt like maybe the get over the hump game. Is that accurate? Because you took over at that point and really got going in that quarterfinal game. Is that kind of one of those things that you look back on?
Yeah, for sure. It was, we go in the locker room and we did tend to like let the other team have leads in the third quarter. So going into that quarter, we all pretty much focused on like defense, get stops, and that'll lead to offense. And we were struggling for a bit, but I'm just kind of was like, well, if it's not going to work out on defense, then let's figure out something on offense. And I feel like it worked out.
Jameson, you're pretty versatile offensively. Do you prefer to be in the paint or stepping outside and taking the long J?
It depends, honestly. If I'm going against a girl who's much bigger than me, I prefer to be on the outside or shooting a three. But if I'm going against girls who I could take in the paint, honestly, posting up is one of my favorite things.
Well, congratulations on an amazing year. Our 2022 5A Offensive Player of the Year, Jameson Eaton. Good luck at Mesa College.
Thank you.
It was so fun. We've spoken with Mama and Papa Heaton a bunch.
Yeah.
Jameson's just a fun personality.
Yes, she is. And you can kind of see that on the floor and of course of a game, right? That she does a really nice job of helping to keep it light, but still being intense, but having fun inside the moment. But man, you get her, talking off the floor as well, and really electric. One of the sad things, we didn't talk about this much, but that state championship game, she was battling flu in that.
Yep.
And so you have, best offensive player, not 100%, and she's still out there going. And there was a moment where she ran back to the locker room, and I'm like, I don't think that's going to be a pleasant couple minutes. She comes right back out. She gave everything she could to Olympus in that run. But you absolutely love to hear a team that has hit barriers the last couple of years, as they had top-ranked team in 5A, never able to get to that championship game. This year, finally able to get over the hump. They run into Springville once again. But Jameson, look, she had to shoulder the load this year, and her first year doing that, and did a fantastic job to help lead Lehigh as the number one ranked team throughout most of the season in 5A.
No, just an absolutely spectacular year for Jameson and the actual flu.
Yeah.
No question. She had the flu.
She was not healthy.
Not something else.
Yeah.
Some weird stories not coming out about that one. But Jameson, just an absolute blast. Congratulations to Jameson and Mom and Papa Heaton. We surprised her with this award. I know they probably would want to be here too, but want to surprise her. All right, let's go from our players. Now let's take a look at the coaches. Let's go to our 5A Coach of the Year. Back-to-back years, Coach Holly Averett. And this year we get to be in person, which is even better.
Yeah.
Our 5A Coach of the Year, Coach Holly Averett of the Springville Red Devils. And Coach, this team, maybe we miss it. We missed it coming into this year, maybe the last 3 years. Yeah. What this Springville team would be. What is in your culture at Springville? It doesn't matter who is quote-unquote star, that this group comes together, especially in the state tournament.
I just think in all the years I've coached, the last few especially, there's just no ego. And they just work hard. They're just really hard workers. We're on them all the time, after wins, after losses, trying to get better, trying to make that extra step every game. And they kind of have bought in, and they kind of have that same mentality, like they just want to get better every day at practice, after every game, and just work hard.
Now, Coach, I already know the answer to this question is going to be there is no secret recipe. That's not going to be an acceptable answer. So your team plays defense like few teams you ever see. How do you get them to play at that level, even in games where it feels like they're maybe oversized or outmatched, and yet the defensive intensity is there every second of every game? How do you get them to play like that?
I kind of think it's been kind of a culture, and so they've learned from years past. We've had good leadership the last few years, and it still continues. I think a big part of it, I have great assistant coaches, so they kind of, defense is kind of their thing, and we're always kind of on them, whether it just be little things like, your footwork's off on here, and we just kind of are on them all the time. Practice, we go hard, every day. We always work on defense. Majority of the practice actually is on defense, so just maybe that's kind of all I can think of. That's the big secret, I guess.
But this is an interesting run for this team, and you get to back to the state championship game. Pori chips her tooth. Yeah. Well, actually, not even chips it; gets jammed into her mouth.
Yeah.
What was that like? You watching her push through? Do you feel like, hey, that's our culture? This is what Springville is.
Yeah, and it's kind of what maybe I should be a little more sensitive a lot of the time, but I'm just like, we got to go, like. We can worry about the tooth later. I just didn't want to be mean.
Were you the one yelling, is there a dentist? Is there a dentist in there?
No, luckily, I just all right, Lisa, take care of her. And then some Springville fan came down and was like, hey, I can help you out. So it worked out. No, I'm just glad it, honestly. And then at halftime, I was worried it would mentally kind of could mess with her a little, but she was mentally tough and just came out ready to roll that second half too. So.
Did you, like us, learn that you can set a tooth? I didn't know that was such a thing.
I honestly had no idea. And when I was waiting for her to come in the locker room, I thought it was going to be gone, but because it looked gone when I first saw it, and then they're like, they just kind of shoved it back in, and I was like, okay, well, that works. We'll take it.
Talk about the challenge probably isn't the right word, but I'll use that. The challenge of having a team last year that had some post play to it, and this year being much more kind of guard oriented and having to kind of not recreate your offense, but adjust your offense. And what was that like for you as a coach and the players' willingness, Pennington, Esplin, Perret, others being able to step up and kind of play the game a little bit differently for the 22 season?
Yeah, we actually talked about it. We were excited after last year. I knew we had some really good talent, really good guards. Brooke was out that year we won, and so I was excited to have her back. And we had this vision of what we could be, just that kind of pressure team, even more than we were the year before, just because of the personnel we had, kind of more in your face, could run a little bit more than we maybe have, and we were just excited. I mean, the girls bought in. We told them this is kind of the plan, we want to transition offense. We want to make sure we can transition defense. We want to be full court pressure all game long. And it took a while to preseason was rough, there was games where it wasn't always perfect, but we all kind of came together at the right time and it kind of worked out.
As far as the memory goes, winning a state championship, would you rather get it off a buzzer beater by Lauren Deedy, or you're watching the clock tick down for the last 2 minutes going, this is in?
Both very good. I will say this year was a little less stressful. That last year, though, it was just like, it kind of was a blur, I'm not going to lie, that last 15 seconds of the game. So it was a little more, it was still stressful going there and the whole game. That was a pretty long 2 minutes, too. Yeah. I was like, okay, let's get this going. But no, both good. Both just way excited about each of them. Different team, but both worked hard and it was fun year.
Well, Coach, it takes a lot to get the back-to-back Coach of the Years from us here at Rewind, but to do it in two different ways, just a spectacular run. Congratulations on a state championship, but also being our 2022 5A Coach of the Year.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Look, I always joke around, the Eric Carrot 6A Football Coach of the Year. This very well could be the Holly Averett 5A Coach of the Year award.
Oh,
back-to-back years.
I'll tell you, it's impressive. And, I think last year that team shocked a lot of people. It shocked me. The team 2 years ago shocked me when they beat Lehigh, right? And then you see all the players that are graduating. It's like, all right, well, there's no way that
no Dane,
carries
no
again,
Johnson,
right?
Yeah.
Like that's not going to happen. Esplin, yeah, she's a good player, but that's just, and then it happens again. They don't lose to a 5A team this year. Think about that. It's pretty impressive to do that, really relying on a guard line and just the defensive intensity carrying through once again. It's just such an impressive job of having so much roster turnover. Yeah, there were some injuries and players coming back, but to be able to get that, not a full new group, but a pretty new group, to be able to play with that same intensity, that same commitment, and to achieve the same result, especially in a year that had such loaded talent on the floor like 5A did, just remarkable. Coach Averett, the job she continues to do at Springville.
Yes. But again, congratulations, Coach Averett, our 5A Coach of the Year. All right, let's go from 5A now to our 6A Coach of the Year. Here with our 2022 6A Coach of the Year, Coach Nancy Warner.
Thank you so much.
Coach, and this can go right next to Miss Basketball. All kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. No, I think this is more, I appreciate this more than that award that I got. So this means more.
Well, go ahead.
Truly, it does.
Really? Yeah, I appreciate that.
No, I really do, because to me, this means just, an extension of what the girls on my team did this year. Certainly would not be considered for this award if it weren't for them. So.
Well, Coach, I've made this comment a couple times. You've been at Lone Peak for a number of years now. The program was struggling when you took the reins. What has it been like to build that program and this year finally reach that pinnacle of winning a state championship?
Yeah, it means everything to reach that pinnacle, like you said, this year. But definitely been a process of just trying to instill a different culture from the time that I got there, and just different expectations and finding leadership to step up to help and just keep the girls focused on the goal that we have, and each year. And so to find that challenge each year and to find girls that will step up, has been awesome to see. And then I know for the past 4 years, we've kind of been, able to achieve that, but just haven't quite got over that edge past the semifinal game. And so this means everything to finally get there and to achieve that goal.
And this year's interesting too, because your team is all underclassmen. Yeah. They're all coming back, essentially, everybody but one player. But you go up against a team, maybe one of the most talented teams the state has seen. You got, to me, as a McDonald's All-American, and you got, just a star, Maggie Mendelson. When you were getting ready for that game, obviously you never think it could never happen. When you're like, well, maybe we're a year early. Was that ever going in your mind? Because for us, once that game's over, like, Nancy's Coach of the Year, because what you were able to do there.
I definitely did not think that we couldn't be there. That was definitely something that we had our sights set on, and definitely the goal that we had. So I think just the fact that we focused on every game individually and focused on the task at hand, we were able to just kind of focus on what we needed to do. And definitely, after that semifinal game, just one day turn around and prepare for them. So definitely a huge task, and big game plan to figure out how to defend them and really just make sure that we had our game plan ready and our minds right and take care of our bodies too. So, we were ready for that and ready for that challenge.
You talk about that game plan, and Bartholomew and Rich played so well in the paint against the post play of Fremont, but you've got Kaylee Woolston, set a national record last year in free throw percentage, was just a clip below that this year. Ika, who big shot McKaylee, right? Just talk about some of the players and how you've seen their development and buying into the system and what they've been able to bring to your culture and your program. Yeah, well, certainly it takes a team effort, to pull out the wins that we got this year and a state championship. So I think just credit to each one of them to step up whenever really their number was needed. I think several games, we could look at several different games this year and see that it wasn't, Kaylee every single game, and others had to step up. But if it weren't for Kaylee's leadership too and her doing her job, we definitely couldn't have been as successful as we were. So, but it really took every single player buying into their role, and I think that was huge this year. Is every single player bought into their role, trusted us coaches, and then most importantly, trusted each other on the court.
We go back to that state championship game. Now it's been a little bit time removed. Get down the stretch of that one. Can you walk us through, now that you've looked back on it, just how much appreciation, or just walk us through what your feelings were getting down to the end of that game, being able to, one, get it to overtime, right, and then in overtime where everything went?
Well, I think just that game was so fun, and still thinking about it just brings so much excitement. Just the nature of it, getting to a state championship, the venue being at the Marriott Center, playing Coach Dale Bout in Fremont, and so just the nature of getting there and being in that setting was a lot of fun, and just starting that game, it was so exciting and fun, kind of back and forth. And then we found ourselves down 9 at half, and kind of going into the locker room and kind of regrouping and saying, like, what are we going to do from here? We got to certainly turn things around. And so that was a proud moment for me to be able to see our team kind of buy into the adjustments that we, said at halftime, and come out and focus on those things and focus on the team effort that it took, most importantly on the defensive end. But they show that they can knock down shots, and we're finally hitting in that second half, and then just come back and tie it up, go up one, kind of go back and forth. It was nerve-wracking, but I think it just showed kind of our team effort coming back, and then that first overtime, just holding my breath. 3 shots? 3 shots. She's made thousands of those in her lifetime. Yeah. So, just, for our benefit, like, that worked in our favor, and, just a great game all around. It was fun to be able to, kind of make a crazy call at the end to not call a timeout.
Was that she wasn't on the floor?
Yes.
See, that's why you're the coach of the year. There's 2 of those. I've never stall ball, but I feel like you stall because we don't have enough fouls. If it gets there, we'll be gone. Yeah. And at the end, when you see Maggie's on the floor, it's like, all right, where's she going to go? Because she's not there, then you get a chance, maybe 2 shots if she's not on the field.
Yeah. So we realized that as a coaching staff. And so just the girls, held the ball and we played for the last possession. And I was trying to signal and yell out, the last play that we wanted to call, or the last play we wanted to execute. And the girls did. They executed and found McKaylee making a read. Which was awesome, and knocking down that baseline banker. So exciting.
Is it crazy to think this team went undefeated? I mean, state championship is awesome, but
right.
I mean, it didn't lose a game. Is that crazy when you think about that?
Yeah, it still is crazy to me to think about that. It never was once mentioned throughout the year that we were undefeated or that we needed to keep that streak alive or whatever. We just always stayed focused on the task at hand and to get better every day. And so to think back and to look back, yeah, I mean, there were some close games, really close games. And I think that's kind of, credit to the team and the girls for always finding a way and stepping up when they needed to and staying together, especially when, either we found ourselves down or ahead and keeping a lead or, whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome for them to kind of carry that weight on them this season. I mean, because every game, I think that weight just got heavier and heavier, whether we talked about it or whether they felt, expected that or not. But it's a huge accomplishment.
That pressure certainly didn't come from us talking about it. So we were innocent on that.
Right.
Well, Coach, congratulations on what was an amazing year.
Yeah.
And it was fun for us to be around your team so much this year, have our part of our coverage. And but what you're able to do, just absolutely awesome.
Well, thank you. We appreciated you guys being at the games and supporting us and appreciate all you guys do. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Our 2022 6A Coach of the Year, Coach Nancy Warner. Look, Nancy Warner, what she did with this team, bunch of underclassmen and everything, everybody was like, yeah, lots of, but it's like, great year. You got to state championship game. You're going to take on Tamia Gardner, Maggie Mendelson. What a run. Going undefeated and only have 1 loss. And she got that team together.
Yeah.
Undersized, younger, and to go through with the state championship. Just such a great job by Nancy Warner.
Yeah, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. Dusty, you got to be pretty excited. Nancy Warner, Coach of the Year. I remember when she came on at Lone Peak. This is not a program that's had a lot of success on the girls' side.
1 year, yeah.
You remember seeing her play as a high school student, seeing her as
We're the same age.
Yeah, Miss Basketball here in the state of Utah, and be able to have a local player take on a premier program like Lone Peak and to build that into a region champion and a state championship. You take a lot of pride in watching local kids do amazing things, and to see Nancy Warner do that and completely change a program around it is awesome. It's awesome. And to me, I think a lot of us looked at the season a little bit with an asterisk. Yeah, they're undefeated, but they'll eventually play Fremont and they'll lose, right? And then when they eventually played Fremont, they didn't lose. And you get a couple sophomores, Bartholomew and Rich, playing like seniors. You get a player like McKaylee Ika, who just no moment's too big for 5'4", 5'5" guard for Lone Peak. You get Kaylee Woolston not shying away from big moments and big games. Shawnee Nordstrom, who's a move into the program. I mean, all of a sudden, like, things just jive in a way that no one, I don't know, expected this year. I think I expected next year for the team to look like this and able to get that done this year. Incredible job for Coach Warner. And, man, it's been a heck of a year, and the majority of the team's coming back. So 6A, good luck. Yeah. But, man, heck of a job building this thing and getting to the top of the mountain. Yeah, no, it's about this coach. It's so humble. Nancy Warner, then Celius, in another poll somewhere else, the second best Ms. Basketball. And she wasn't even aware of it until someone sent her a screenshot. Sent it to her dad. We texted. I asked her about it. We asked her here too, but she didn't know. Nancy's so great. Yeah. So much fun. It was a blast for us to be able to cover that team as well. But our girls basketball coverage, so much fun. We always enjoy it. And doing these awards, there's nothing better. And we really, really get the chance to get to meet them and talk with them where we don't get a lot to throughout the year. But just an absolute blast and try to get to see them at their next level. Yeah. We're here next level again. We want to thank Western Governors University. They get you to the next level as well. Make 2022 the year of you. Hit us up, your thoughts on our Girls Award Show. Love to hear from you. For Mike Christensen, Dane Stewart, and Vince Francis, I'm Dusty Litster. Thanks for joining us and for watching the Game Night Live Rewind Girls Award Show.